Interaction of Color by Joseph Albers. It's a very interesting book, published first in 1963, and it's illustrated by his students, I believe. There are a lot of different versions of this book, revised and expanded, it says on this. Like, you could get really expensive ones with nice plates. The only reason I have two is because I had made this into like a workbook, and I use it to file away the little homework studies I did on it. I'll show you some of that. So I had gotten another one. It's another nicer edition, slightly nicer, but I'm sure you could get even really expensive ones, nice plates, whatever. But I like the covers of these, are very nice. Also, kind of demonstrates most of what his teaching is in this book. So it's all about when one color goes up against another color, the interaction of colors, as the title suggests. So zooming in a little bit more on the covers, they demonstrate a lot of what his teaching is about, and also for anyone in New York City, if you're looking for great secondhand books, art books, you have to go to the Strand. These both, the stickers are from the Strand. I was collecting a lot of art books a few years ago. So yeah, definitely go to the Strand for secondhand art books. So this cover is showing transparency effect, where it's like these are separate cutout pieces of paper that all these illustrations are made of, and so it's this different shape, color, but you see it as the entire rectangle made of these two different colors, and the background color and whatnot. It may not be the best explanation, but maybe makes some sense. And this side has this cover, shows the interaction of the colors, how and this rectangle looks, can't help but see that as a lighter ochre color, and that one is a darker, like that little rectangle is much darker than this one, possibly, or it's not much darker, but definitely darker, and that one definitely a little lighter. But we know they're, of course, really the same color if you put the cover them, and just you can see that they're both, of course, the same color, but it looks darker when they're up against the colors like that. And also this gold and orange part, and compared to this, looking at this blue part, say which color is darker, this orangey one or the bluey background part there. Now, to me, this orange definitely looks, they look about the same, but this one, the orange, is probably a little bit darker looking to me. Whereas if you cover them, see that the blue is definitely a little bit darker than that orange. Now these are just some from my work study edition. It has made into a folder. Then in the different sections that it's talking about this. Just showing the same colors going down against these colors in this case. The lightness and darkness. Anyway, let me show you several examples, I guess, of my stuff. There's this stuff where You can see how that looks. This thin line looks darker down there. It's really the same color. On this side, yeah, it looks pretty good here. That looks a lot lighter, and that looks a lot darker on the top of that one. So, as I say, I made it kind of into a workbook and just tried out some of this stuff. The kind of transparency effect, basically. So this one should have a kind of fluting effect, I think they call it, as it, you know, these are flat colors, but as they go gradating darker and darker color, up against the darker color, it kind of looks like it gets lighter as it goes against a darker color, and a darker color going against a lighter one comes even darker, and then so it looks like as they grade across, it gives this fluting effect. It's kind of subtle to see, but you almost don't notice it at first, but then once you notice it, that it looks like it seems to grade into like lighter, like I just said. So this one similarly has some of that fluting effect, getting darker against the light and lighter against the dark. This also goes into edges, how, as you notice, that these are maybe closer and they're darker, and the edge gets kind of lost, even though it's mostly a hard cut edge there. They're closer in value, of course it'll seem like softer edge between them, and they go a little dark, more different values of lightness and darkness. They become, looks like a harder edge. That's the type of stuff he goes into in this book. Here for this chapter, as you could see, I did a Starry Night interpretation on these Albers flat pieces of cutout paper. So I'll end this with some leaf studies, for reproductions of these leaf studies. These weren't, because they're really nice. Ones out of the color plates in this. Made with leaves and colored paper, whatever. So I hope that was a little bit interesting. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.